You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group HyperSpace and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die.
What is up, everybody? It is Saturday night. This is Truth Frequency Radio. I'm Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme of Saturday nights, or as Paula was just mentioning to me, or Green Arrow. Yeah, the intro's awesome. I want to, before we start the show, or even though it already started, I want to do a shout out to Chris and Cherie. Thank you guys so much for putting us on Truth Frequency Radio. We're at home. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to sign up to TFR. Get a subscription. Get the app. Find us on iHeart Radio at Truth Frequency Radio. If you like any of the music you hear tonight, HeistClick. That's Heist Click. We are everywhere, so just check it out. Remember, wherever you are, make it TFR. Shout outs to everybody in the chat room. Inpouring of love and saturation of awesomeness coming from the Fearless tribe and the Fearless family. As you guys may have heard or may not have heard, and you're going to find out right now, that Squeak passed away. We had to put Squeak to sleep the other day. He had feline FIP, and it was the wet kind, which only gives you a couple of days, once it's diagnosed, apparently, to live. So I want to thank everyone who has been supporting me. As you know, Squeak, the great Kadu, who came back from another dimension just to be with me, so for that, I love him infinitely, is also now the face of Fearless and is also the face of all our little fuzzy animals and our little fuzzy friends that we love so much and we have compassion for and care about. Yeah. We love yours just as much as we love Squeak and all of our others. Okay? So keep that in mind when you wonder what's happening out there and why is this so crazy? And then you just sit down and pet your cat and he's purring on you. That bad boy's calming you down, and he's taking shots for you. So remember to show them a little extra respect.
And
give them
gratitude.
And lots of gratitude.
Yes, next week is Thanksgiving. We want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We want everyone to really take time and show a little gratitude for the things you already have. And don't worry about the things you want you don't have yet. Just be thankful for what you have now. And really be with your family and friends. This is Thanksgiving, best holiday because change. It's just really about people coming together and being together.
We seem to forget that when these times of the years come, we know that we're saturated with distraction and lights and all kinds,
shopping,
all nonsense. It's not necessary. You know what I want for Christmas? I want my friend back. You know what I want to give thanks for my friend being there.
Yes.
That's what I love, and I want to thank everyone who's been there. Period. I'm happy that you're out there with us on this journey.
Frank, can you just check my mic because I think the chat room folks are having a hard time hearing me.
You got to speak actually into the mic.
I am. I'm right.
Try now.
Hi-
And check 1 2.
Just monitor me, guys. Tell me if you can hear me or not.
All right. So
Oh, they're saying to make the mics louder. Okay.
okay, we'll get on that. So this week, Fearless is chronicling. I'm bringing on one of my best buddies, and he's a shaman in training, just like myself. We met a while back, but I have to give my disclaimer before bringing Jeff on, because after hearing tonight, you're gonna want to be part of this. Remember, this is the story of my journey and my journey alone. I don't suggest you try this at home alone. That is, unless you're ready. Then by all means proceed. But first, we suggest finding a reputable shaman who knows what he or she is doing, and travel safe in the love and the light. Remember, the universe rewards bravery. Isn't that right, Jeff?
Oh, man, I don't think it could be better said.
So let's tell everybody how we met.
Well, it all starts with me hitting you up through Facebook. You know, we chatted a little bit. The way I actually came across you was I was on YouTube searching up things on psychedelics, DMT specifically. Came across one of Chris's videos in which...
And that was that right there. I think he got cut out right there. But that's how we've been putting it out there through Chris's shows and through our shows, and people have been picking us up. You back with us, Jeff?
Did we lose him?
I think we lost him. Hold on a second. All right, so I'll try to connect back to Jeff, but we'll keep the conversation going. I met Jeff back in at the beginning of the year, and he said to me, "Hey, if I show up, if I get there to you, can I get in?" And I says, "You ever find your way to me, buddy? You're in." But that journey within itself is it's a crazy journey to start off with this. I can't reconnect to him right now, so we're gonna have to just keep it going. So we'll get him back in a minute, but I think we just broke off the station right there.
Oh boy.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. We're gonna try to add him back in, and we'll get everyone back on. Surging out a lot of power tonight.
Well, it's like they don't want the message out tonight either.
One of the things that has been happening in the last week since Squeak's passing is all the other animals that have seen. All right, it looks like we're back in. Wow, I can't even believe what seems to be happening here, folks.
I really don't want this message getting out because prior to the show, we had Jeff on the line. Everything was great. Everything was working.
Jeff, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, let's get right
I'm
back
so
into it.
sorry.
And bam, we're all back live.
Okay, we're all back. Okay.
All right. Let's get right into it. Where was I? I had seen an interview with you and Chris Gio on YouTube. I heard your voice, and you had about 12 videos or so, 12 episodes up on YouTube. I had literally binged those, was still curious about what else you had to offer. I signed up at Truth Frequency and binged everything you had up until the current date.
That's awesome.
Seriously. I then was having some issues getting into HyperSpace. It was, I was seeing some negative entities, and then I was also kind of getting stuck in between zones. And, it could have been technique or what have you. Long story short, I hit you up, Frank, and we started chatting. Then out of the blue, I don't even recall exactly the occasion, but we went to New York. I hit you up, and you just so happened to have time, and it was kind of like a domino effect from there.
I remember you saying to me, hey, man, if I make it up there, you got me, right? And I'm like, yeah, if you ever get up here, because this was in a time, the beginning of the year, right, when I was taking in people, and there was a lot of people not showing up and not getting down with it. And I remember saying to you, and it had nothing to do with you, but you had talked to me at that time. And then I was like, yeah, if you get up here, it's all gravy. And then you were like, yo, I'm up here. And I was so excited. I was like, yo, he's here. He did it. That's the biggest step, right? Getting here.
Yeah.
Right? How much do you go through when you know you're going to drink ayahuasca, or you know you're going to have an experience of some kind? It's like the world throws boomerangs at you, right? Just start smacking them off your head. Nope, your car won't start. Nope, your computer won't work. Nope, you're not getting out of the house today. Nope, you got to travel from X, Y to Z, and you're going to have problems and traffic and everything. I saw your face when you walked into my yard, and I was like, I don't know. I want to just say I was looking at family.
Oh, man. When I was looking for parking, right, I guess the plumbers were stopping by or whatever it was, that those people, and I seen you, and I had felt that energy that I had known you. I had never really seen your pictures, because up until that point, you never had clear pictures of yourself on your social media. So when I saw you, I knew you. But it's like I said, when I came out, it's remembering everything you were told to forget.
Yes, I agree. It's exactly that. And when you find one of the missing pieces, you just want to keep finding more of those pieces to put the puzzle together.
But it's what we do. That is what we do as creators, right?
Yes.
We solve puzzles. And they build this puzzle within a puzzle, within a distraction within a puzzle, right? And it's just ongoing. And what do? They separate us by landmass, right? By race, by what we like, what we dislike, right? So there's all these factors that play out. Like you'll never find them. You'll never find your brother. You'll never find Paula. You'll never, you'll never get them. And then what happens? You hear the voice, yes?
It was literally like, how can I say? To those that know can understand this. It's when you hit that tone that it just resonates and vibrates your entire being.
Would you say the truth frequency, perhaps? Because that's what it is, right?
Yeah, but it's true. And I'm so happy to finally get to talk to you because I missed you when you came to visit Frank. I was at work. By the time I got back, you were already gone. And I'm so happy. I'm hoping to see you again soon. And, this is wonderful for me because it's not often that Frank finds someone that he goes, that's family.
Yeah, I was
You
bugging
know.
out after you left. I was like, "Oh my God, you missed it."
You know.
Bugging out. And how do you think it must feel on this side, listening to someone, finding someone on YouTube, they have a radio show, you contact them, next thing you know, you drink ayahuasca with them, and it's like, oh my God, this is your brother. How do you even begin to explain that to people?
You know what? I still don't know, because people, we talk about it all the time on the show. We're telling you a story. We're telling it from our point of view, but it's true. It's true for us. And, there are a lot of people that won't believe it, but it's still a good story. So if you're having a hard time wrapping your mind around it or believing most of it, then believe the pieces that you can. Take what you can from it, but it's hard. I mean, there are some people that I don't even open my mouth, because I know you're not going to believe anything that I'm saying. And it's not my job or anyone's job to prove to you. That's not what this is about.
Yeah,
This is about riding that wave and having someone who gets on the wave with you, and it's not about belief. It's about knowing. And from what Frank explained about you, there's the knowing is already there. Like your brothers, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's kind of a balls to bones thing. Nick is in the room right now, in the chat room, and he's like, is this the other son of Atlantis that you told me about? The answer is yes.
Yes.
All right. This is my brother, Jeffrey, right? Jeff and I will get into that in a few minutes. But to add fuel to the fire we're speaking of right now, when Jeff, you were here and I discussed you on the show, Nick, who didn't know me, who was just getting to know me, hit me up and said, yo, he's in my spot. I'm supposed to be there with you guys.
Yes.
Right. So he was bugging out. He was like, I was supposed to be there. And then when Nick and I unlocked, it was brothers again. So we can hear each other.
It's a call. It's a call, man. It's out there. It's in the universe.
To those that think it's not. Now, you and I, you're down in Florida?
Yeah.
All right. So
I'm in
you're
Southwest.
Okay. So you're all the way down there. I'm all the way up here. Nick's all the way out in Texas, right? Chris is all the way out where he's at. So but we're hearing each other. Okay. Now you come into the house, right? Because I remember your reactions to everything, man. I wish I could frame that and put it on a wall.
Yeah, freeze it.
Yeah. Be like, look at his face when he came inside. You were looking around and you looked at Roxy, right? The cat. One of the things you had with the cat was amazing. But let's get into your experience. What did you experience coming into all this now? Because I was worried about you driving home. I had a dream about you last night driving home after meeting me. And I was like, damn, that must have blown his mind.
So where do I even start? So first it was the plumbers in the house. So that delayed us a little bit, but it was like, when we were talking about it, like a good omen, setting the intention and receiving the confirmation sign, so to speak. So those plumbers, you said, were in there cleaning something out. So my intention was to go in there and get cleaned out,
Yes.
So,
So you know what? I didn't even. I didn't make that connection until you just said it. Like, yo, they were cleaning it up, and we were cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Interesting, man.
So where they're talking, and you bring me that first cup. Man, it was intimidating when you first put it in front of me, because you put it in front of me in the middle of conversation and you're like, all right, you could drink that. And I'm like, drinking now? Like, is this how this works? So I drank that. We continued talking, and I think you had went to wash your hands or something. And at that point, I began to think like things are a little weird, because the sound of the water in your pipes was like tripping me out, and I hadn't even drank the second cup yet.
Wow.
So yeah. So when you give me the second cup, the cup, the actual Aya, I take that down slowly. Nothing's really happening. You bring me a second cup. At that point, you're asking me, if they're telling you to drink more, let me know. So when you're telling me this, I'm just like, what do you mean they? You know, like I've had experiences before, but I can say that the brew and the vaporization are just not, they don't compare in the way they come on. So that being said, the second cup, okay, I'm starting to hear Aya talk to me pretty clearly at this point, and she's saying to me, drink more, my child. Drink more, my child. So I drink that, I think it was the last half. So I'm in 2 cups, and I drink about half of the third.
You are so brave, my friend.
I love you, man. The bravery you showed that day.
You
But
really
you know,
are.
it's crazy because if it wasn't for you saying, if they're telling you to drink more, let me know. And then almost instantly, I began to see Aya appear. She begins to tell me, drink more. And then I'm just like, by the time I'm getting halfway through the third cup, my stomach just can't take it anymore. The nausea starts to get pretty bad, but I don't know, you know, time starts to matter very little at this point.
Yes,
And I know that
yes.
I was very consistently asking you, what time is it? And let me tell you, man, the scariest thing you said to me was, what was it exactly? You said time is not real or something like that. And when you said that to me, I saw the ripple through the air of your words into, like, projected into my consciousness, and that freaked me the heck out because I was trying so hard to hold on to something. And you know, on the other side, there is nothing to hold on to. But when you gave me those the grounding stones, that was the biggest relief in the world.
That's right. I forgot about that. You were getting lifted out. Like, it was hard to ground you. And I was like, I had just had the grounding stones. And I'm like, this can't be, I mean, this is absolutely not a coincidence, but has to happen. And I handed them to you. I'm like, it worked. These things work. So Jeff's getting them. Like, and I remember when we talked about time as well. I remember looking at you saying it's only been a few minutes, like 6 minutes or something.
Oh yeah, that was still in the beginning when the waves were still hitting me, and you were like, you know, we can get you in. That's not the problem. So I'm like, I'm like, bring it. Oh man, you told me there was nothing in there. I think that in those alleged 6 minutes, I've lived longer than the time I went to your house till now. There was no concept of time for those 6 minutes. I did not exist. My consciousness was not even aware of itself. It was kind of just the experience happening, and there was nobody to be aware of, or, you know, rather, better said, nobody to fight the experience. It was just absolute bliss.
Yes, and I have experienced what you're experiencing. It's like that time, it felt for me, it felt like 10-20 minutes felt like a week. And I said, it can't be. I'm in the same clothes. It can't be that long. I'm still wearing the same clothes.
Paula had this thing where she looked at me and she's like, oh, how long have I been gone? And I was like, 6 minutes. And she goes, what?
No,
that's impossible.
Can't
and then
be.
it flipped on us again later on. And then she's like, yo, how long has it been? I said, yo, it's been like 45 minutes now. Right. And then she goes, dude, that felt like it was 2 seconds.
So I understand that. And I understand the awe of it. You're not anywhere. You don't even know if you really do exist.
Absolutely. There is no, you exist, but you don't exist.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Paula don't exist. Jeffrey
It was
don't
almost
exist.
like, the best way I could explain it is almost like the TV was playing in the room and there was nobody there. There was somebody watching it, but that somebody didn't know it was somebody watching it, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
The wisdom shooting
So
out of
great.
you right now. It is amazing because that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You know, Nick and I had that. We didn't know who was the other guy, right? Like he was like, I think I'm you. And I'm like, looking, and there's this pink stuff flying around, and that's it. And it's funny because my TV was on and we were playing the music through it. And I remember going, yo, is that me? And then I had to call it over. It was just everywhere, kind of. And I'm like, I was aware now that all that was me mixed with Nick, and then we just brought it back.
And energy. And
that was it. Everything else was like the Pinocchio syndrome, where it's just sitting in the corner. It's just like a dead object. All right, when we come back, we have the best part of the first part of the story, where I go in with him to make sure he's okay, and then it hits the fan. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and I'll talk about the black grounding stone as soon as we get back real quick, and I'll let you know how to do that. Thank you so much for listening to your protection from
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
Am I weak or is this a dream? A fantasy of where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
You will not be trapped in this world for long. I'll tell you that right now. Don't forget to check out IamWeAreFearless.com. The big release date is this coming weekend. And it's lining up perfectly because my secret partner that I've been talking about the whole time behind the scenes, whenever you hear that guy's name, Sergio, be on the show next week. And we're going to let it out, Sergio Garcia, and we're going to be talking some Bitcoin and some futures and some really interesting stuff in the metaphysical and how it connects to the physical and how it connects to your future and your wealth. Okay, grounding stones real quick. We were using, for that specific thing, which I use them all the time, Apache tears. Okay, there's a whole story online of what they are, why they work, and it's very interesting. So look it up, Google that stuff. So me and Jeff could get right back into this and tell you how awesome this gets, because I want you to know we're finding each other. This is family, right? This isn't a psychedelic trip, bro. We're not going to see Pink Floyd. We're not watching colorful things on the TV screen. We're not playing video games. We're literally cleaning up and clearing out.
Oh, yeah, it's work.
We're putting
It's
in
work.
Listen, I've worked so hard for 4 hours that when I worked for the USDA, we had very hard days at work sometimes. It was very hard. I would take months of that and crunch it into one
session,
1 hour, or sometimes 30 seconds, and then clear all that out, but feel all that weight that was there from stuff like that and have it removed. It's not fun. But you know what is great? The payoff. The universe rewarding bravery with more you. So, Jeff, let's get back to that. More you.
All right. So you gave me the grounding stones. At that point, I felt like the death spiral, so to speak, stopped, and I was able to kind of orientate myself on the other side, because I would open my eyes like, but before I purged, I had asked you to help me to the bathroom. And man, when you came to help me and you gave me your arm, you gave me like that Spartan arm grab, right? So I opened my eyes and I look at your arm, and your arm, the best way I could describe it is this, because this is exactly what I thought of. You know, in the movie The Mask, where he's dancing like with the maracas and stuff, how he has that flary kind of shirt, the energy was like that, but it looked like Christmas lights strobing down your arm. And when you grabbed my arm, it came onto my arm, and you said, hey, it's going to be hard to move. So I grabbed your arm and I tried to get up, and instantly I was like, this is not happening. It's not going to happen right now. I just need to lay here and it's going to pass. and I can definitely say it passed, and the purge was probably the most relieving, uplifting part of the whole thing. It's almost like people have this idea that throwing up is this terrible sensation, but when you're on the other side, you realize that purge is not it's not physical water with a bunch of root bark coming out of you. That's not at all what it is. It doesn't even sound like a regular purge, you know?
It doesn't sound like an alcoholic throw up. Like, I'm drunk, I'm throwing up. You know, like, it's nothing like that.
And it was the most, like I said, the most uplifting thing, especially after the way that root tea tastes. You know, I think, you know, you say that the root bark tastes bad. I think that the root is significantly worse tasting than the root bark.
So you're saying just drinking it is hard work?
Oh man, the first thing I took the first sip, and the first thing I said to you was, "Wow, that's pretty gnarly, man." You know, I did not think it was going to be that. I never seen a shot glass look so big.
I know. That's my issue. It tastes nasty. It is the worst thing. I think I can honestly say it's the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth.
It's
horrible.
Earthy.
Horrible. It's like
I think it's delicious.
Yeah.
You know what? I can say that after having that root tea, it made black coffee taste like the most delicious thing in the
world.
I'm drinking black coffee right now, and I'm like, he's going there. He's going there. It does taste delicious because
have you had Shilajit?
No.
All right. That's like a organic mineral, right? Or a fulvic acid. That stuff tastes better than the root tea.
Oh, man.
For anyone out there that might know how that stuff tastes.
Yeah, the roux is pretty rough, man. Getting that down. I find the Taiwanese powdered acacia, and this is just as from shaman to shaman, is my favorite flavor of ayahuasca. There's something about it that when I drink that, I just get that bitter coffee taste, like the mwah, 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 and I put it down. The roux is always exactly the same to me. I'm like, oh, this doesn't get easy, man.
Oh,
you know?
Man.
Like, I never feel easy with that stuff. But, you know, too much roux, and we go over this all the time, too much roux will kill you.
Yeah.
20 grams of roux, you're dead.
Yep.
This is why becoming your own shaman, it's important to know these things. Like, if you put too much of one thing in you, no matter how much it'll help you on one end, on the other end, it'll drop you dead. Any interaction with, like, heroin or synthetic drugs or anything, this all puts you in a category of that taste. You taste that taste in your mouth and you're sipping that down and you have that stuff in your body's about to go to war. And literally, and that's not good. You know, but these are the things that the safeguards kind of in place so you don't do that.
That's why you follow the list of instructions and you don't do the things you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, for those that are curious, it's 5 grams. That's it. That's all you need. All right, so let's get back to this. So now, really quick, you were in the middle of your Aya experience. Didn't we smoke? Or did I just smoke and go in?
I think you smoked. The only time I smoked was when you were trying to get me in. You asked me if I wanted to go in. You brought it to me, and you just lit it up, and there I went. And I literally woke up like, how long have I been gone? Almost as if I forgot I existed. There was nothing. It's like I was saying before, there was just nothing. In those 6 minutes, there was nothing. But in that nothing was everything.
Yes.
And, you know, once you're there, it's kind of all right? Like, you do get used to it.
Oh, man. If you don't fight it, right? If you can just breathe, submit, and let go. Because the reality is that you're not going to control it no matter how hard you fight it. And the more you fight it, the scarier things get.
I have to agree with you because I think one of the times I drank, I wasn't really mentally ready yet. Like I should have waited a few minutes more. And when it started, I was fighting it. And then I said, no, this is bad. Like something in your mind tells you, stop fighting it.
Yeah. Like relax.
And once I did stop and I submitted, it was a much easier experience for me.
I was telling Jeffrey, I go, listen, man, we're at a point now. You're going to get to a point where the only thing that you've learned up to this point, literally 100%, whatever you've been taught or you've heard me say, nothing's going to work except just breathe.
Yeah, just
breathe. Because I can't help you you can't do anything. You just breathe and then it makes it really good. Right? But you have to get over that initial shock. Okay, so let's keep going. This is so awesome, man. I feel like I'm there doing it again.
Me too. I mean, it's now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always now. Yeah. I'm having flashbacks of the way Aya tastes. I can't handle it.
My coffee started tasting like it.
Oh, shut up. I don't want to hear it. It does not taste anything like coffee.
I remember seeing your face, man. I tell people this all the time, and it's weird because Paul will tell you it's difficult for me to see difficult things sometimes, and I get to see everyone's fail face, like when they just completely fail and they have no clue what's happening. Mm-hmm. They shut down, mm-hmm. and it's like we're infants but adults, like big babies, and the fear comes over the face, and it's like, yo, don't worry, I'm right here, and then the fear's gone. Right? That interaction when we touched hands, it was like, what? I'm right here. And it just hypercharges it.
That was the best part. And that when you were sitting, here's one. You were feeling as if you were talking too much. And you're like, no, I'm talking too much. They're telling me to just be quiet and walk away. And I'm like, no. Can you do me a favor and sit right next to me? Mm-hmm. When you sat right next to me, I'm like, Frank, can you hold my hand? And you're like, I can't really do that, buddy, because I'm on the other side. So, I'm here, on this side, in the physical, looking at you, all distorted, but I still see you. And then I close my eyes, and I'm like, holy crap, I still see you. Mm-hmm. When that happened, listen, I have done DMT with a lot of different people at the same time, different times, and I've never had a shared experience with anybody like that. That was the most intense thing. And right before I saw you, I'm like, I think we've done this before. Yes. And then it's like we just got pulled into a portal. It's like we went up one realm higher, or whatever the case might be. And
we broke out.
Yeah, together. It was just I don't even know.
All right, wait, let me catch up with the thought, because I remember doing this part of the show. I was worried about you a little, right? Because you went. So I smoked and went in. And I sat next to you, and I was like, I'm going to sit right here with you, and I'm coming in with you, bro. And I smoked, and you're like, word. And then you like laid back, and then you're like, hey, can you hold my hand? And I said, no, I can't, because we did it. We're here on the other side. And you looked at me, and I saw you on the couch, and I knew I was in the chair. And then we were sitting inside of this glowing pyramid. And it was like, it wasn't fully golden. It was like the lines of the pyramid that outline it were gold. And it was like our house. Like I felt at home with you there. And I watched these beings coming out towards us. And I looked over at you and I was smiling like, dude, we're on the other side. And you were like, oh my God. Like you went from the astonishment look that we were there. and then right into game mode. It got serious.
Now let's go.
Right? And I was
man, it
sitting
got
there.
super serious.
Okay, now, do you want to tell him what happened? All right, I'll tell him what happened. This being came out and was handing you a box, and I screamed at you. I said, "I think you're a shaman." And then,
Oh, man. And at that same time, at that very instant, like for me, it was difficult to get across that we're having a shared experience. So you said, "I think you're a shaman," and literally a split second before that, the thought of "you're a shaman" enters my head. You know, so as I'm saying, like never having a shared experience and you saying that, it blew my mind. I don't even think blew my mind does what it did to me justification. I just could not believe what was happening, but it was happening.
When they did that to me, right? And I talked about it on the first show. They took this red box out of my stomach, and then I'm like, "Hey, that belongs to me." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then they just a wall of color handed me this red box. Like it pushed it back in, and then someone goes, "Ah, you're fixed." And I went, "What? I'm a shaman?" Like, duh, right? Like, of course. Like you just don't realize it. And I'm like, "Wait, what? Wait a second. I'm a shaman. I was in that house." Now you were sitting with me, and I was watching it from the other perspective. So I started like bouncing up and down like a baby. I was like, "Yo!" And then the beings split. Right? Like they were working with you. It was the exact same thing. And then they were talking to me. And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up? This is amazing." They're like, "Yo, look again at him." And I look over and I'm like, "Wait a second. You're my brother." I'm like, "No, you're literally my brother." Like literally we're sitting next to each other on the other side doing this.
It went from
blew
like
my mind.
It went from like, okay, I'm going to this guy Frank's house to drink ayahuasca to literally when we broke through, it was like, holy crap, I remember it all. And at that point, I think the only thing I could say was thank you. Like that was the only thing that I could process of how happy I was to be able to have broken out.
Now, you know, that being kept calling us the true sons of Atlantis. He was going true. There was a bunch of them, and they were going, "True son of Atlantis, rise. True sons of Atlantis, rise." And I'm looking at you, and I was so happy. And you were like, "Bro, can I give you a hug?" And I was like, yes, time for a brother hug, because we have family. I don't know if you have brothers and sisters or whatever. I have a brother, and when I hug my brother, it's the same as hugging you, as hugging Nick, as hugging Josh, like as hugging Chris.
There's no difference. Yeah.
As you know, like it's
love.
It's
love.
potent, right?
It is.
It's like a return. I mean, I was like, boy, he's gonna have a lot of catching up to do, and his journey is gonna be just. I can see the fantastic again. I know it for myself, but I can see it in you, which makes me live through my brother's eyes, which you hear that sometimes. You know, I live through my kid's eyes, or I live through, and I was so excited because it was doubly occurring in the now. So I was watching it from all these angles, and I'm like, "Oh, we're back. We are back." But how do you? All right, there was a moment where I was looking at you, and I'm true with my stuff. You know that. I look right at you. I'm like, "Bro, we're back. The Sons of Atlantis and everything." But think about what that is. Think of the impact that was having on us at that moment. How potent.
Words, man, words. I remember coming out, and apart from thanking you, all I could say was like, it's all. You know, there's no words. Words fall so far short from what actually goes on. Like I had told you earlier, whenever I speak about these experiences to anybody, my version of the disclaimer is no matter what I'm about to tell you, it's not that. There's no words to describe these impossible colors. It's almost like I remember you had one show where you had a guy come on, that you worked with a guy, and he said, Frank, this is not what you were explaining. And it's like, because words just don't explain that.
Yeah, this doesn't. He was like, everything you said is wrong. You do a horrible job describing this. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing the best I can. like it's just words. Like until I could grab you by the shoulders and look into your eyes and you just understand me and see it for yourself, you have to literally go walk through it and see it for yourself, because it's different for each person.
Yeah, and you know what? I understand what you're saying, because there are some times after I've had an experience where I don't have words, and Frank's like, "Come on, what'd you see?" And I'm like, "Frank, I can't even find the words to describe the one of the things that I experienced." And sometimes it takes like a couple of weeks for me to even put it all together in my head. You know, like I'll tell a story about my experience, but that's only a fraction of the experience, because like the other 90%, I don't even have words for. Words haven't been written to describe it. You know, like if you tried to Google 1 second of you couldn't find the words.
I think the thing is that DMT it makes you, like, we know it pulls the filters, but to the layman, I would say it makes you synesthetic. You know, you begin to taste sounds and, hear these impossible things. Like the buzz that you hear in a quiet room begins to turn into like a buzzing bee noise, and depending on if you're listening to some meditation music, if you get some meditation flute that hits the right note, that one note will last what feels like forever, and that one note will give you, for me at least, the absolute bliss. I think for me, the flute is by far my favorite tone of all the tonalities of the music that I've heard.
Well, that's
while
the higher
on the other side.
That's the higher.
It's like tones. A higher vibration, but I understand that because that had happened to me. I heard bees. I hear bees.
Yes.
And then the buzzing bees, the sound almost changes into like this mechanical sound, and it sounds like feedback. And then we put on the ayahuasca music, and some of it is like you said, it's like hearing a choir sing.
No, it's more. It's like the sound opens portals, and you can taste the flavor with your ears and the sound.
Yeah,
I'd say that's right on point right there.
Yeah,
you know,
you can't even. Yeah, it unlocks something that you're not even ready to explain.
You don't even know that it's there.
Yes.
Right?
It's almost like the ayahuasca emergency kit. You push a button if you're having a hard experience, and a nice flute tone just plays and kind of eases it.
Yeah, you can slow it down that way, or speed it up if you have to that way. Yeah, that's a very good way to explain it.
Well, that's why we're all here, right? We're doing the best we can to explain the experiences and to show you. We're not trying to prove it to anyone. Mm-mm. We're just talking about it freely and openly without the worry of someone else jumping in. We're just trying to tell you the story, the way it is, what happens to the best of our ability, and explain to you the best that we can the experience. Now, I got to ask you something because there's only 4 minutes left. The phrase, become your own shaman. How does that make you feel?
Simply put, empowered. It makes me feel like all of these thoughts that I've had as a little kid that society has taught me or told me that they're invalid for one reason or another. Become your own shaman is the validation that I need for myself.
I hear you, because
that was perfectly said.
Yeah, because you do this, you go through this this really profound experience because you want to clean yourself or fix yourself or, find the missing pieces or whatever your personal reason is. And you always get so much more than you thought you were going to get because it's not just the experience, it's everything that happens after it. And all the synchronicities that line up once you made the decision to drink. Everything that gets you to that first cup of tea.
It becomes the most worthiest thing you've ever done for yourself. And then how the hell could we have known what we saw that day? Well, I'll never forget that. As a matter of fact, I can live it every moment if I want. I can just go back to it and remember that happened? Oh, yeah. Well, okay, it's happening. And that grounds me, knowing that you're there and that we shared that. Like when we talk, like me and Chris and everybody, well, we all get together and it's only for me and Jeff met and he's now become his own shaman. And we work at it just like everything else. And it's work. It is hard work to do this.
That's one thing we were talking about at one point. You make it sound easy because of how far the words leave you from the actual experience. What actually happens, like, for example, you see a reptilian. Someone might think, okay, a lizard or a big lizard, or even the DMT elves. For someone that's never crossed over, when they see the elf for the first time, they may literally freak the heck out because I know that elf is not a word that I would use to describe that entity.
Be like, what'd you guys see? Elves? Yeah. That's why the McKenna called them machine elves.
19 feet
He's
tall.
like dribbling basketballs and crusted jewels. I'm like, no, I met a dragon and he came out of my computer, literally. And they're like, the computer's infecting you when you stare at it too long. Did you realize that? And I'm like, what? Whoa.
Yeah.
This thing's in my face in the room with me. There's a portal opening in my room through my computer screen. And the guy's like, it's infecting you. I'm like, that might be the most frightening thing ever. But then it never frightened me again. And I didn't run and hide under my pillow. I stood there with it and went, really now? This is what's in the room with me. All right, Jeffrey, thanks so much for coming on the show. I want to have you on again, and I want to discuss more about becoming your own shaman. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure, man.
Remember, we are your protection from deception. So stay tuned. Beyond the Veil's coming up next. Remain fearless at all times. And Fearless family, we're all getting together. We're all